Welcome, all you moms and dads out there. Thank you for joining our special edition for the Kentucky Derby, the 150th running for the Roses. We did have Dan here, but I guess he said, fuck Kyle, and he bounced real quick, but he's probably coming back. Here he is. So we got Dan here. You can find him on X at Courage_D. What happened there?
So if I'm on my phone, if I get a phone call, it kicks me right out.
Okay.
And you said we're going live, and I immediately got a phone call. So
yeah, I saw that. I was just like, oh, he doesn't like me. All right, he's out.
That's how my Oaks day is going so far.
Perfect. And then we also got Barb here, also known as Tommy. How are you doing?
Horse Barb, Tommy. Not on Twitter. I don't post my picks because I lose most of them. But if we win them, I'll be on Twitter and you'll hear about it.
And then everyone knows the DGen himself, Mr. Joey Cheese. You can find him at DGen for life, obviously. And that's why most of you guys are here. You're not here to see me ramble. Look at my casting couch behind me. But yeah, so let's jump into it. Joey, where do we want to start first?
Guys, welcome in. Excited to get the podcast rolling since college basketball is over. Fade U slowed down a little bit. We decided to jump in and do a Derby pod this year. Grateful to have Tommy and Dan join us. So yeah, let's jump right into this card. Talk a little bit about the undercard. I call it undercard, but stakes races. I guess we'll start in the 6th at Churchill. 7 furlong Derby City Distaff. Grade 1 race at 7 furlongs. Post time 1:15. Tommy, do you have an opinion here?
Not a strong one. I think the 7 and the 10 are far the best. I think the 7's got too much speed here. If I do anything, I think I'll play the 4 underneath in a box. But heavy favorite in the 7. I think the 10 could give him a run and maybe get lucky getting the 4 in the box. But nothing. No strong feelings here.
No strong opinion here. Dan, why don't you break this race down a little bit? I know talking with you earlier, I believe you have a best bet in this race. Why don't you bust this race down?
Yeah. 7 furlong Derby City Distaff. I feel like it's kind of a 2-horse race. You kind of have a rematch between Alva Star and Vava again. They ran last out in the Madison at Keeneland. Keeneland was really played to speed a little bit, I thought. So I think a lot of people are thinking Alva Star kind of got the jump on Vava. It was kind of tough for her to run Alva down, which she didn't do in the Madison. But my thinking is this Alva Star, she ran a race at Saratoga last summer. I was there for it in the Priorist, which I didn't bet her that day, but she really dropped my jaw. She ran away from the field. She won by 8. She ran a 98 Beyer. Tyler knows this horse. I was a little nervous last race. I did play her in the Madison and cashed some nice tickets on her. I was a little worried that she was just a speedball and she needed the lead. It was really nice to see her rate that day. So I think that she's versatile. To me, it doesn't matter. As long as she breaks, she can sit or she can go to the lead. I just think that she is way more talented than people are thinking right now. I think I made a reference to this earlier on a different podcast. If I could find Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint future odds right now, this is who I would play. I have all the respect in the world for Vava, but I just think that this horse is going to sit the trip, and I think she's running away tomorrow. So I keyed her in the 2-day pick 6 that started today, and I'm thinking that Vava and her are going to be similar prices. I think a lot of folks are just Vava fans, and she's totally fine. I'm just kind of leaning on Alva Star to be versatile and run away at the top of the stretch. And I could see it being 7-10 straight, but I don't see Vava running her down. I think Alva Star is going to start distancing herself in this division a little bit.
Yeah, let me ask you. So throw out her maiden special weight winner where she ran in the slot back in Delaware back in September of 2022.
Yeah.
you see any chance Spirit Wind gets the lead here at the turn with the equipment change?
You know, I'm always worried about Safi. You never know. You never know what you're going to get with his horses. I have no problem with Safi making the lead. I also think
And Alva running off his hip.
I'm fine. I almost sometimes I would prefer Alva to rate a touch and not just run away and kind of get lost on the front end. Sometimes I do think Red Carpet Ready. She got stuck down on the rail last time in the Madison. I think she's a little bit better than she showed last race, but I think there's more speed in here than people are kind of thinking. And I think Alva could be on the lead. I think she could be sitting second behind Spirit. I think she could be sitting third behind Spirit and Red Carpet Ready. And I think she's fine to win from anywhere.
I mean, she's proven that. I mean, she ran off the lead in the Madison. She's wired the field a couple times. She came off the lead in her maiden special weight winner. Yeah, I mean that horse is spectacular, and doesn't hurt. You get Tyler back on the mount again. I love Tyler. I think he's great. One of my favorite jockeys.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw his ride in the finale at Keeneland today, sneaking up the rail, but he's just he's as good as it gets. And she's just Alva. She's just I think she does things that are special. I don't really like to throw that word around, but she's just very tactical, very athletic, and I'm not stepping out, which she's probably going to be 2-1 or 8-5 or something like that. But sometimes you need to lean on a horse in a multi-race sequence, and that's it for me, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I think Alva's the class of this field. I think she is without a doubt the horse to beat here. I don't have a super strong opinion anywhere else in this race. Yeah. It would be Alva or Pass for me probably here. The only other horse I would look at would be Spirit Wind. I like the equipment change. Safi's pretty good. Ortiz had some good mounts today. It's about it for me. But yeah, Kmart, anything on this race? I know you're a Derby guy. I know you didn't really touch many of the other races, right?
Yeah, no, I only touched the 12th race.
Cool. Tommy, nothing to add here real quick before we move on?
No, I got nothing, man.
Cool.
I'll just give you guys one more quick little tidbit here. I think it's super likely to run 7:10, but if Vava doesn't run her race, I think that Flying Connection is super logical. I'm a big fan of backs. I think this horse has class. I think that she's the one horse that kind of scares me. She could be anything at 7 furlongs. They've kind of been trying, 2 turns and they tried the Apple Blossom. She actually ran a pretty good race last time out behind Adari Manor there, but something tells me this horse is going to like to cut back. I can see her running late, so I'll probably be playing some 7-3 exactas as well, but mostly just 7s on top.
What about Fincher shooting 27% the meet?
Yeah, that's not too bad, right?
Yeah, how do you look past that, right?
I know. I've been a fan of his.
Where do his horses mostly run?
He's a better sprint trainer than I'm trying to think. He's had some good sprinters in his day, and I'm kind of drawing a blank on
Yeah, he's not one of the guys. I mean, look at this Flying Connection. Look at Uncle Mo and Nyquist. I mean, the horse has the breeding here for sure.
Well, this one's coming. I don't know if he's a New Mexico guy or if he's got this Flying Connection ran at Zia Park and Sunland, and I mean Fincher's definitely out west. He runs at Del Mar a little bit.
I know he's a West Coast guy. I'm not a big Santa Anita guy. I don't really watch much Del Mar, so I kind of try to stay away from those tracks personally.
Yeah,
but yeah. I'm a Keeneland. I'm a Keeneland, New York guy.
Yeah,
mix a little Churchill in there.
Yeah,
but cool. All right, let's move on.
All right,
let's move on to the 7th. We have the Distaff Turf Mile, Grade 2, 1 mile on the turf. Tommy, did you have anything in this race you wanted to talk about? I know your best bets are coming up a little later on. Any horses here that you're looking at? I know we talked about it briefly yesterday.
Yeah, this race gives me PTSD. We've got 3 Chad Brown horses in this race, and it feels like the Saratoga meet from last summer all over again. I'm staying away here. I think the 7 is an interesting horse to look at. The 1 who they actually brought back down to 6.5 furlongs the last 2 times out. Now they're stretching him again. Those are horses I'll look at, but I'm going to stay away from this one as well. So I'll let Dan break this one down.
Yeah, Dan, go ahead. You got anything on this 7th race? I mean, I have like a slight opinion on a horse, but another one. This is one of those races, man. I've looked at it for an hour, 3 days straight, and I just my head's spinning.
I guess small opinion. This is one of those races where I'm like, I'm familiar with all these horses, and I'm breezing through the PPs, and I'm like, I don't like this horse, I don't like that horse. So like a new face is fantastic, and you see Chad with a Judmont horse from John Gosden, and I did read a couple things that Chad was like crazy impressed with this horse's turn of foot, but I do think I also read that the horse needs firm turf. So I don't know what we're getting tomorrow weather-wise. I think there's maybe some rain in the morning. I think that the course is a little bit soft, so that horse stands out to me a little bit. But I also think 5-1 morning line. I think that horse could open up at 8-5, and that's what I'm expecting that horse to open up at. So I don't really have a strong opinion in this race, to be honest. I was planning on kind of spreading a little bit, but it's nice to see Evie Jets show back up too off of her. I forgot she ran in the First Lady, but she had a big win in the Boston Spa last year. I have a buddy that had a bunch of horses with Cantermachi there. And that was his first graded stake victory or whatever. And that horse has some heart, and she's a fighter. So I don't know. I'm a little torn on this race, but I do think that horse for Chad, Coppice, number 11, could be a serious horse.
Yeah. So my only real opinion here goes back to this 7 horse that you guys both just talked about. I know a lot of people are going to look at this horse and see he hasn't run since October of 2023 in Keeneland, but you go back to this horse back in Aqueduct in November of 2022, had the 6-month layoff, came back to Aqueduct in April, and ran a monster race with Eric Hansel riding. I know this trainer's pretty good off the long layoff. I think what was I reading? Something like 15% on a 6-month layoff. I like those numbers. This horse ran pretty big in the First Lady. I actually watched that race. Ortiz took an awful step on the last turn. I think that horse could have won that race. He ran a huge buyer there, 98. For me, in this race, it's the 7 or pass. So, yeah, and I like the ad with Rispoli. I like Rispoli getting them out here.
I think the thing I'm going to look at with that is try to get that. My bad. Only comment there is I want it to be higher than 6-1. I mean, the last 2 races, the horse went off at 29-1 and 20-1. Obviously won the Boston Spa, but and it finished 3rd in the other race. But if that line moves up, that's an opportunity, I think, to play the 7. If it goes down, I'm not going to touch the race.
I think we get this horse somewhere around 9-1 personally. Yeah. Right? You agree, Dan? I don't see this horse taking a bunch of money.
I was just going to say, if this race was in New York, I think people know Cantermachi in New York. We're used to this horse a little bit. And the great thing about Derby Day is there's a lot of dumb money in these pools. Like if this is Breeders' Cup, the odds are pretty sharp and they're kind of spot on. Derby Day, the numbers kind of get skewed a little bit. So
everyone wants to bet the Derby, Dan.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
People are going to see Chad Brown with 3 horses. They're going to be betting Chad, all of his horses probably.
I agree.
I can see this horse drifting up to 6, 8, 10-1, something like that. It's a big difference, 10-1 and 6-1 on this horse for sure.
Huge difference. I agree. Nice. All right. Anyone want to add anything else here before we move to the 8th?
Good.
No. All right, cool. So I guess we will get to my best bet of the on the card comes out of this race. I know Dan has the best bet too. I promise you, we don't know what the horse is prior to recording, so this could be interesting. Derby's huge day for our friend CT Smash. Yes, it is, CT. So we got the 1 mile, the 1 mile Pat Day, grade 2 race. I am going to the 7 horse. Who Day? Don't tell me, is that yours?
You stole my thunder, bro.
Let's go. Let's go. Dude, I absolutely love this horse in this spot. I mean, we got a lot of speed in this race. The 2, the 8, and the 12 seem to be the speed here. I think BJ Hernandez picks this pace up. I think he kills these closers. I think he kills this front end of this speed, catches them on the backside. I personally, it's my best bet on the entire card. He's run better speed buyers every race. Ran a huge race at Churchill last time out. 2 times back. This is his second off the layoff, so I'm willing to disregard his only loss in his life, which was back in Keeneland, 320K at 7 furlongs. I'm willing to throw that race out, even though he just missed. Second off the layoff here, I think this horse improves big time. Yeah, I mean he likes the wet. He likes the wet track too. So if we get a little rain tomorrow, this horse, I am absolutely fucking clobbering him. I think he wins this race by open lengths. Yep, Dan, let's hear it. I can't believe it. Is it really your horse too?
It is. Yeah, I'm shocked because this is a big 12-horse field, open race. I was surprised that you said that horse because I was thinking I was onto something by myself, but yeah, everything you said spot on. So I think Thomas Drury is like a real sneaky guy. He had a good Keeneland meet. He won the opener at Churchill today by about 10 lengths with one of his maidens. I think it's 13% is what it says, but he's just a sharp up and comer, I think. But I bet this horse in the Lafayette at Keeneland, and like I said, Keeneland for most of the meet, but especially on April 5th there, such a speed favoring track. Nobody was making up any ground. This horse kind of dropped back, made it down to the rail. He put in a big run shocked that he even got second, but he galloped out way in front of the field. Like you said, there's tons of speed in here. This track at Churchill is playing pretty fair, so I think he's going to be making a huge run. I love BJ Hernandez. He knows Churchill very well.
BJ brought home a monster in the 9th today, a 10-1 shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, BJ's great. BJ, he ain't scared to hit the rail and give it all he's got.
Great ride on in the Oaks too. Kind of just took command of that race and ran everybody off their feet. But I just think this horse has gotten bet every single time. That race at Keeneland, so I'm a big quote guy. I'll read post-race quotes and articles and whatnot. And Drury was expecting this horse to be much closer to the pace, and I don't think he was super happy that BJ dropped him back, but he did say the horse wasn't cranked first time out this year. So I'm expecting him to improve. I think the race sets up perfect. I don't know what kind of. I think we could get all of 10-1 on the horse. There's some big names in here. Nash is taking money. Top Connor's taking money.
Nash is going to take a ton of fucking money, dude.
I think it's Blahos horse for Doug O'Neill that ran the huge number first out, the private purchase. He's going to get bet a ton. There's so much speed. I really like this horse. I think I would be surprised if he doesn't run in the number or win this race. I'm on the same exact page as you.
Nice. Let me ask you one question, because it was me and Tommy actually talked about this the other day when I told him it was my best bet, and he said, "Don't tell me you're going to bet the 7." I said, "I'm betting the fucking 7." He goes, "I love the 7." I'm like, what is happening? How is everyone loving the 7? But no, that's good. That's good. I like to see guys like us liking this horse.
Yeah.
Let me ask you though, Dan, does a step up in class worry you at all when we got, Seize the Gray ran the Bluegrass, ran the JR Stakes. We got Dutch Rose horse in here running some big races. Northern Flame coming out of a big one.
Yeah.
Does it give you any second thought whatsoever? You got Top Connor coming out of the blue. You got half the Bluegrass and Wood Memorial in this race.
I know. It definitely. I'm not. It's not like my best bet of the year. Like this is an Ohio bred. Liam's Map Babies are fine. I think the Dam is kind of it's a cheap Ohio bred.
Indian Charlie.
It's an Indian Charlie Dam. Yep, which is fine, but Nash is a serious horse. That horse has run almost, run 97 buyers. The Vallejos horse ran a 98. Top Connor Chad Brown said he had 3 Derby horses. 2 of them made the Derby, and Top Connor was his other horse. That's what he's been saying all along. So we have a serious race. Pat Day Mile is a great race every year, and you never know what's going to happen. It's kind of there's 12 horses. It's you need the trip. You need this horse is going to have to work out a trip. So I think he's going to be running. It's just we got to kind of hope that one of those big guns doesn't freak and run a 105 and we run second or third or whatever. But it's the right spot. I think the horse is super well meant, and if we're getting 10-1, that's why it's my best bet on the court.
Correct.
This horse was 5-2 or something. It's
I wouldn't bet it. Yeah.
I think those Bluegrass and Wood horses are going to take the money too, Cheese. I think a lot of people are going to look at this form. They're going to see that they ran in the Bluegrass. That's why Top Connor is going off at 5-2 right now, morning line. They're going to take money just from being in those races. And I actually love the layoff. I know you said throw the layoff out, but the horse didn't run for 4 months. They brought him back down to, I think it was 7 furlongs. I don't have it in front of me right now, but horse was willingly finished second. So I look for the horse to improve again here.
And they're giving them, they're the added length here too. Now they're giving them the extra furlong.
Exactly.
Am I crazy that I truly feel like this is the best race on the card?
Great race. I feel like every year the Pat Day Mile maybe is the best race. I agree.
Just like Saratoga Day, it's always the Metropolitan. It's just, it's just the way it goes. Yeah. Cool. Anything else? Anyone want to add anything else here? Now that Tommy, Cheese, and Dan all love the 7 horse in the hit.
Kiss of death, right?
Yeah, right. The horse definitely gets scratched tomorrow.
Yeah, watch this thing run off the track tomorrow after a quarter.
Loses the jockey going into the starting gate for sure. Cool. Let's jump into the 9th here. We got a mile and the 16th on the turf, the American turf here, grade 2. Tommy, I know you have a best bet in this race. Why don't you set us off?
Yeah, I'm going to play a price on this one. I really like the 12 horse Abrumar. Safi Joseph, Paco Lopez gets the mount. I think it's easy to throw this horse out. It ran in an 84K special weight. They dropped him to a 60K. He won that race, brought him back up into an optional claimer, won that race as well. And then they jumped him significantly to a 200K race, of which he won. The reason I like this horse, I don't think this horse is going to get bet. I think he's going to go off above 10-1. His last time out, he got very slow fractions. So it was a 25-second quarter, 25-second quarter, 50-second half. And he still wired that field. The race before that, he got more honest fractions. So we were looking at 23 and 48. And he was able to pull away and win by a length there. I think there's value in this pick. He's beaten Cugino, a horse that has run against some of the better horses in this race twice. So I see him at 10-1. I like Safi Joseph. I like Paco Lopez. I think he's going to go off higher. So I'm going to play the 12 here in a single.
Tommy, do you see who owns that horse?
It's not in front of me. Who is it?
It's a fucking Ramsey horse.
Oof. You don't like them?
Kenneth and Sarah Ramsey, were my absolute favorites when Rosie Napravnik just rode all of their horses. So I know Dan, I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Rosie was my girl. Every time I needed her, she would always win. I haven't had any success with jockeys since she's retired, I feel like, but I miss her. Miss her riding.
dude, for me, it was Rosie and Ramon. It was Dominguez.
Yeah.
Were my two. Like they were, like if I couldn't find a horse, I'm just betting Dominguez or Jacobson off the claim. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Wow. Damn, Tommy, I can't believe you're going to this horse. Yeah, I mean, I have a little star next to this horse in my book. I looked at him. It's one of those things for me. It's like, man, there's a lot of big horses here. It's like, does this step up in class? Does Safi really have the horse here to do it? Same thing we just talked about with this 7 horse in the last race. I mean,
I think there's some similarities to this horse. So one of the horses we're going to talk about in the Derby, I know they're on the turf here, but yeah, I like this. I like taking a shot in this position because I don't think the horse is going to go lower than 10-1. I think he's probably going to go off at 14-1, if not higher.
yeah. I mean, are we just going to look past Atras's best horse and who he fucking has in his barn and Neat? I mean, this horse is a fucking monster. Dan, any opinion on this race? And in particular, I'm curious what you think of Neat here.
Neat beat me in the Transylvania, knocked me out of everything. Was a
Did you have Cugino?
I did. I thought Cugino ran pretty big in there, but I also think 10-1's crazy. I think a lot of people are on Cugino tomorrow. I think he's going to be much shorter, but Barb's horse beat Cugino multiple times and will probably end up being 2 or 3 times the price. So I am all for using Abermar in this race. The way I looked at this race, kind of, I don't know if you guys can see my hat.
Yes.
Dolphin.
These are a bunch of familiar faces to me, and I feel like they all kind of just like they're average-ish horses, and I feel like the way to go here is I watched the replays of this Legend of Time for Charlie Appleby, and Appleby's just unbelievable. I think he's first time North America. He's like 50 or 60%, which is just, I've never seen anything like it, but this is a good horse. I think this is a legit horse. So the way I was planning on playing tomorrow is either I'm singling Legend of Time and hoping that he's just better than these American horses that are kind of just nobody jumps off the page to me, or I'm not going to use Legend of Time and I'm going to spread in this race and try to catch somebody at 15 or 20-1. And Abermar's definitely would be on my tickets for sure. Another horse that I've kind of been high on for a while is Can Group. He won the Bourbon last year at a big price. Had a pretty troubled trip in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. I thought he ran huge that day.
Look at that close in that race, Dan.
Yeah, he was right there. He was way out the back. He did run a big race. They tried him. They kind of put him on the Derby trail thinking that he may take to the dirt. He didn't. I wasn't thrilled with his race last time, but Cassie's like not really one to get them going in their first race. And I know Pratt really likes this horse. He said last year he was pretty high on this horse. Not the greatest draw in the world, but 15-1. I'm definitely using this horse. I'm going to use the other Cassie a little bit too, because he impressed me a little bit on replays, but yeah, this is a tough one. I haven't decided exactly if I'm going to spread a little bit or if I'm going to just kind of lean on Appleby, but I'm going to use Can Group too.
Nice. Yeah, the only other horse in this race that I even considered even potentially using was Set, Ortiz's mount here.
Yeah.
But it's not a horse I'm overly excited to bet. Probably won't. It was just one of the first ones that caught my eye. After listening to you guys, I'm not going to lie. I'm probably going to use the 5 and the 12 and the pick 4. So it's probably what I'm going to do. So cool. Sweet. Let's, Kmart, nothing here for you, bud?
Nope. Just sticking the one.
Just going.
I like what you guys are saying, though. It's going to be hard not to follow.
I hear a couple little whispers about the 4 horse too. Formidable Man. He's 15-1. Saez, he's speedy. The more I look, I'm thinking. I mean, it's Derby day. I hate singling a horse in an open 14 horse field. If you're not super confident, so I'm thinking maybe spread a little, try to catch a price in this race.
McCarthy had a winner on the card today, didn't he? With a price. I think he did.
I'm trying to think.
Am I wrong?
My brain fried.
Yeah. I mean, they paid $375,000 for that horse, so.
Yeah.
Got to win something at that price.
Yep. All right. No opinion on Tricari, Grand Motion's horse, the Deuce.
Rui or Rispoli. Not for me, really. Honestly, I didn't even take much of a look at that horse.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, all right. Yeah, let's move on. Let's get to this 10th. We got the 10th, 11th, and then we'll get into the Derby. Yeah. So anyone, Tommy, once again, man, back up with you. Let's get another best bet out of you in this 10th at Churchill tomorrow. The Grade 1 Churchill Downs, fucking whatever you want to call it, 7 for a long race. What do you got here?
This might be the only pick that could be stupider than taking the 12 in a single in the race we just talked about, but I'm going to single the 3 horse here.
Bo Cruz, let's go.
I love this horse. I think the horse might wire the field. I don't think there's a ton of speed in this race. This horse ran really well in the Commonwealth, the G3 race. There was honest fractions. They went 22-9 and 46-3, and he won by 2.5 lengths. In a race where I don't think there's going to be a lot of speed, if this horse can get on the pace and dictate the pace, I think he can wire the field. And at 10-1, there's some names in here that I think are going to get bet down pretty heavily. I'm going to play the 3 to win.
Wow. I didn't see that coming.
Like it.
Yeah. Dan, opinion before we talk about the rest of the race. Any opinion on Bo Cruz? Not really where I was looking.
I'm a big Al Stall guy, so I was planning on using him. That was the same weekend that Houdet ran. I think this was Sunday when Bo Cruz won the Commonwealth. I was impressed. I've always thought this was a good horse. I think Al tried to get him in at Saratoga last summer, and he scratched. But I know Al used to be high on this horse. I'm sure he still is. For a Grade 1 sprint race, Barb's right. There's not very much speed in here. So I think the 11 is going to – I've never been a big fan of Hoist the Gold, to be honest with you. I think he's speedy, but I think Bo Cruz could take him a long way or all the way. He's an A for me.
Yeah. All right, so you ready? I'm betting the horse that comes out of the Commonwealth and the horse that Bo Cruz beat last time. I like Minnesota Ready here. I like to come back with a beaten horse, especially running versus the same horses that they ran against previously. It's just something I've always kept an eye on. I do want to note, if you go back to, I don't expect the track to be in great condition tomorrow. I expect it. I don't think it'll be as bad as today, but I don't think the track is going to be great.
I agree.
You look at what Minnesota Ready did 2 back in the slop at Fairgrounds at 5.5. I mean, he ran a 102 here. This horse could clearly run in the mud. He absolutely dominated that field. It was only a 100K race, but still came back with a huge performance in the Commonwealth. Just missed with Tyler. You get Joel back. You get the winner. You get the winner from his previous mount back on him with Joel. I love that. I'm a big Rosario guy.
Geez, any concern about the distance? I mean, 3 of the last 4 races, they put the horse at 5.5, and they stretched him to 7, and he lost to Bo Cruz. That concern you at all?
No, I think he ran that race at 7, and they know that he is ready. I think they let him try the track out at the distance. He ran a great race. I mean, they run that race 10 times. I mean, I think he beats Bo 5 of them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Plus, I'm looking for a little bit of a price here. I certainly don't want to bet Zozos. I know he's Brad Cox's horse. Everyone's going to be on him. On a day like Derby Day, I'm not looking to bet chalk. Obviously, I will if I have to, but I'm looking for a ticket. You get 1 or 2 of them on the day, and it makes the entire card. Dan, what are you looking at here?
Minnesota Ready wasn't really on my radar. But now that you say that, I mean, it was the same week. Like, speed was so good that weekend. Bo Cruz made the lead and kept going. So why can't this horse turn the tables kind of thing on a fair track? Like you said, moisture in the track probably only helps this horse. Tom, great sprint trainer. He's had some serious sprinters in his day. This was kind of another race where I was a little bit spready. I did have another. I'm way against Zozos. That's kind of my opinion in this race. I've never liked that horse. I
hate him too.
He's like a okay miler, but I just don't think he wants to sprint. I don't think has the speed to like hang with decent 7 furlong sprinters. So I was kind of just not using Zozos and kind of spreading fairly deep in this race because I have opinions in some of the other races in the pick 5. But one little ad that I would tell you guys is, so I had my little blurb about Thomas Drury being a sneaky guy. I think Ben Colebrook is like very, very similar to him. I was never a Raised Cane fan, but he kind of won me over a couple times. I think he really wants to sprint. He was good in the Perryville winning that race. And then he came back. They tried the Malibu. It was a little bit too much. Didn't like his Commonwealth at all, but I know I just have a feeling that there's much more to this horse. I don't love drawing the rail, obviously, but I'm going to use this as like an A or B type. I think he could be 15, 20, 25 to 1 forgotten, but I think what he go off 6 to 1 or 6 to 1 in the grade 1 Malibu against like the best of the West and Speedboat Beach and all those horses. So yep. I just think the public is very, what have you done for me lately? They'll forget about this horse. I'm using them. I don't love them, but I wouldn't forget about that horse.
Yeah. I mean, second off the layoff too, gets an prime opportunity to improve off that race at Keeneland where he didn't really show much. But they all 3 of those horses all come out of the same race. Raising Cane, my Minnesota Ready, and Tommy's Bo Cruz. They all come out that same race.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, last bit on this, Dan. Give me, if you had to use 3 horses in this race in the pick 5, what 3 do you use?
Let's see. Probably using 1, 3, and
Hoist to Gold.
I mean, yes.
You probably can do.
I would. I wish you said what 4 horses are you using, but yeah, I would use 1, 3, 11 and feel okay.
Yeah. Same. I would use 11, 8, 1 here. So yeah. Cool. All right, let's move on to the 11th so we can get to the big boy. Mile and 8th on the Turf Classic, grade 1. Maybe I'm just wrong. I remember this race being way bigger than it seems this year. I know we got Farbridge running here, who, probably a pretty big name, but Web Slinger. I mean, this race isn't really stacked like it normally is. Maybe that's just me. Any opinion here, Tommy?
No, I think the 5 I think is probably going to go off as the favorite or close to. I actually, so I don't have a strong opinion on this. I'm probably going to tail whatever you two are doing here. The 4, I can't get my head around the 4. It's a Christophe reclaim. The horse was running incredibly well last summer, and then Pletcher dropped him in a 62K claimer where Clement picked him back up. I'm looking at that horse at 8 to 1, and I'm saying, what am I missing here? Because I think the 4 is a strong horse. I don't have strong opinions on it. If anything, I'm going to watch to see what the line does with that horse tomorrow. But I'm excited to hear what you guys have here because I'll probably end up telling you.
It's a Calumet farm horse too with Clement. It's like Brown and Klaravich.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the same thing. Dan, what do you got here? Because I do have an opinion on this race. Nothing crazy, but I want to see where you go.
So Farbridge was like a pet of mine last year. Basically, I got beat a nose on Derby Day, I think it was last year. with him to Web Slinger, and he came back and tried him in the Pennine Ridge, lost, and Belmont Derby won. Played him at Saratoga, lost. He's like a very quirky horse. His owner lives right around the corner from me. He's got huge LSU flag flying outside of his house. So I think this horse is super talented. That's one of the things I love about these spring, like the Derby day, is like you don't know how a horse improved from 3 to 4, right? Like it did Farbridge, put on a bunch of weight, turn into a monster. Same kind of thing with program trading. I'm sure Chad's got him ready to run a big race. The other horse for Chad, I'm Very Busy. His last 2 races came out of nowhere. He's a serious horse. If that's what he actually is, he's no joke. And then you have the Godolphin horse, who kind of
Naval Power, yeah.
I don't want to say he prepped in the Maker's Mark Mile, but they've always all along they said he's a 9 furlong horse. It was kind of Master of the Seas race to win. They got him around there for a run. They were pointing to the Turf Classic the whole time. I thought he ran a pretty big race to be second there. He galloped out in front of Master of the Seas for whatever that's worth. But I'm going to go in a little bit of a different direction. I think Integration is a monster. His last 2 races have been a little disappointing after those first 3 runs where people thought he could be really a serious horse. He had a lot of trouble in the Pegasus where he was 5th, lost by a length, but he didn't really get outside to make a run. And then the Maker's Mark, it was super soft that day. I just think this horse needs a firmer turf course. So I'm that's the tough part about giving out picks the night before. I'm waiting to see what the course looks like, and I don't think it'll be as soft as it was that day, but I think people are starting to forget about Integration a little bit. This horse lost to I'm Very Busy in the Pegasus, but beat I'm Very Busy by 5 lengths on a firm course the race before that. So if we can get just not a soft course, it doesn't have to be the firmest course tomorrow, but if it can dry up a little bit, I just think that this horse is going to run a top. I think he's going to run a career best, and I'm hoping it's good enough at say 5 to 1.
It's funny you mentioned a horse that comes out of the my best bet in this race. It's actually my second favorite play of the day behind Who Day. My horse also comes out of that Pegasus World Cup race. I absolutely fucking hate Pletcher, but I cannot stop looking at this horse. I think Giroux gets the lead here. And I mean, look back here. I mean, you got Farbridge who wants to come off the pace. You got Program Trading who doesn't need the lead, probably comes off the pace. You got a Closer and I'm Very Busy. Naval Power definitely comes off the pace.
Yeah.
You got Integration who comes off the pace. You got then you got Celis, you got George Arnold's horse, who probably will try to go to the lead from the 3-hole horse from Kitten's Joy. But I don't see how this 8 horse doesn't gallop the first mile of this fucking race with no one on his ass. I don't.
You're spot on. I think there's not much speed, and he should be on the lead and
galloping. Yeah. And they're running him back again. This will be his first race since the Pegasus, where they stretched him back out to a mile and an eighth. And he had the lead that entire fucking race. He lost his whip coming down the back stretch. I mean, Saez rode a great race. He really did in that Pegasus World Cup, if you go back and watch it. But I think this is a golden spot for Pletcher to not only produce a win, but a win with a number here. I think we get this horse somewhere around 7, maybe 8 to 1, because I think Farbridge takes some money. I think Program Trading takes some money. Naval Power will. And I think and everything you said is spot on, Dan. I think Integration will take some money too, based on what he's done his last couple times out. I mean, he's eligible to improve here off second time off the layoff. But But yeah, I mean, Pletcher went 0 for 3 today. And this is no secret, my favorite spot, third time off the layoff with Never Surprised. My second best bet of the day, the 8 horse in the 11th. Yep. So, Tommy, any opinion on my 8 horse?
No, I mean, you've done a good job selling me. I like the one. The only horse I have a note on here besides the 4, which is basically WTF, is the 1. And I really like the 1 drawing the 1 post here. The last race, and we talked about it a little bit, he got caught 6 wide at one point. So I think he's going to save ground on the post here. So I know he ran 100 buyer and finished 4.5 lengths off. Like, that's a great number to run. And he wasn't really close. So I'll probably put 1 and 8 and a couple other horses playing the pick 5 here.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably playing the 8 over the 1, 5, 11 exacta. And might play 8 with the 1 with the 5, 11 in the try. Dan opened my eyes to this one horse. I did look at him. I had a little circle next to his name, like to come back and relook at. And I actually, when I went back and watched that Pegasus World Cup race, I don't even remember seeing this horse because I was just watching for Never Surprised. I'm gonna go back and rewatch that again now, knowing that he ran a pretty good race there too. So,
yeah. And Shug McGahee is so patient with his horses. He's really points his horses to late summer and fall races. So he never ever has his horses like really, really cranked up for Maker's Mark Mile is a grade 1. It's a big race, historic race at Keeneland, but just the way Shug trains, this horse will just run a little bit faster every race. This race, he'll run at Saratoga, he'll run at Keeneland in the fall, run in the Breeders' Cup Mile. Like,
he's improved his buyer every time out.
Yep, that's just Shug. You'll hear more from the horse, but yeah, no, I like your guys' opinions a lot as well.
Cool. All right, well, it's the big one. Let's get into the 150th edition of the Kentucky Derby. My favorite 2 minutes of the year. Barb, why don't you start us off, and then we'll kick it over to Kmart, who I'm hoping he has a bunch to say on his horse. I'm waiting. He wouldn't tell me who the fuck he bet. So, Barb, why don't you start us off here? If you want, touch on a couple different horses, a couple horses you're looking at. You don't have to just throw out just your bet right off the rip.
Cool. Yeah, I'll talk about, I think, 4 horses here. I'm going to jump to the 4 in Catching Freedom, especially after how I saw the track run today. Of the 3 back runners, I actually feel best about Catching Freedom getting up and getting a piece in the Kentucky Derby. I'm going to look for that horse with Flavien Prat on the mount, especially not run from the back per se, like he did in the Louisiana Derby, but more mirror his approach in the Risen Star in the Smarty Jones. He was about 3.5, 4.5 lengths off the pace, whereas in the Louisiana Derby, he was 7.5, 8.5 off. I think this horse could be a real problem. And I think he's got a better chance of getting up because I don't think he's going to have to make such an aggressive late move like Sierra Leone might have to, or Honor Marie. So I like the 4 as the best shot of those 3 back runners there. The other horse I really like in the first 10 is the 8, Just a Touch. And I played this horse in the Bluegrass. He had 2 starts. Both of them were in the slop. I've heard people say he got the perfect trip in the Bluegrass. I don't think he did. He was on a very honest pace, and he didn't really tire. So, yes, Sierra Leone caught him. I guess my concern with this horse, 3 starts, all 3 starts as a 3-year-old. I love Brad Cox. I love Florent Geroux. I am going to play this horse to win. I think that if they can get out into the first grouping, and if Florent Geroux can get that horse just a little bit behind the pace, it puts him in the best position to have something left at the turn. So I like the 8 here.
Tommy, real quick before you go on.
Yeah.
Just a touch fits the mold though, right? 4 out of the last 6 years, Kentucky Derby winner was on its 4th start, right?
Yeah, I think it was 3 of the last 6, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
It's around 50% in the last 6 years. The winners have been
Just the touches coming into his 4th race, and same thing with the 5 Catalytic, another Saffy horse. But
and I'll be honest, that math scares me a little bit, right? Because how many more times can that happen? It could be part of the training regimen, right? Is trying to get these horses to peak at the right time. At the end of the day, I was super impressed with the way that horse ran in the Bluegrass. I'm going to jump over quickly. I'm going to talk about 3 horses real quick. The 14 opened at 30-1. I saw him on TVG at 43-1. There is no reason to play this horse. Michael McCarthy has been vocal about thinking this horse should not be running on the dirt. I'm going to play the horse. Not a big bet, but I'm not going to miss out on a potential Animal Kingdom, a potential Barbara horse here. I think if this horse goes off above 40-1, I'm obliged to play it because I don't want to miss out if this horse can run on the dirt. He was super impressive in the Jeff Ruby. I mean, he won that thing easily. I know that the synthetic surface is going to be kicked back. He's going to be eating dirt in this race. I'm comfortable taking a chance on this horse, just given all the reasons not to bet it. The last 2 horses I'll talk about, which I feel good about. I really like the 15 here, Domestic Product. Cheese, we talked about it. The number one thing I look for on a form, is a Juddmonte horse or a Klaravich horse. And we've got a Klaravich horse here in the 15. We also have the trifecta. We've got Chad Brown and Irad Ortiz. I think it's easy to throw this horse out on paper. If you look at his buyer figures, I think it was like an 82 and an 83. But the horse has gotten very slow paces. And each of those races, he was still able to get up. So he won the Tampa Bay Derby on a 25-50 split. And he still beat the other 4 horses coming down that stretch. I think it's super impressive. The big question,
we are so fucked. We are all so fucked.
Why do we all feel?
Because I know where Kirch is going too. We are so fucked.
I can't stop looking at this horse, and especially with Irad on it. The single note I have here is like, I don't know if this horse has it in the tank to do it. If there's a jockey who's going to ride the horse aggressive enough to give him an opportunity at the turn, it's Irad Ortiz. And what's he at? 28-1, 30-1, 35-1. Like, I have to play this horse, and I love the 15 in this position.
Yeah, I hear you. Kmart, you've been sitting around long enough, dude. I need to hear this. Before me and Dan bust this down.
Oh man, where do I start? I've been sitting here so long, I kind of forgot what I was going to say.
You just got first class front row seats to the fucking Derby card.
Yeah, seriously. So, I mean, I think, if everyone's watched the Derby every year, there's like one thing that's usually in common, it's closing speed. So that was one of the things I was looking at. Tommy mentioned it, in the Louisiana Derby, and this horse finished right behind a horse that he's picking to win the Derby. This horse is Honor Marie. So, looking for a horse that can run it back in the second half. I like his pace in the front half, doesn't get too tired. He's shown pace, getting stronger. I believe he won. Let's see, what did he win?
He won a grade 2 at
he won a grade 2, but then he's kind of been forgotten about, finishing 5th and then, second in the Louisiana Derby.
With my guy Bejarano on him.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the horse that I really like. I'm definitely, he's opened up at 20-1. I think it's down to 18-1-ish right now. So I jumped on it right before the show. And, I've been sitting here thinking I'm probably going to also play some. It's at plus 525 right now on a win play show. So, just in case he doesn't quite have it, finish second and third, I can still win some money on that. I think a lot of people are going to go with Secretariat's great grandson. It's going to get a lot of action, but this guy, his father is Honor Code. So I think, he's got a good bloodline as well, and has just been a little forgotten about. And I love the fact Tommy had fucking 5 horses and this horse wasn't one of them. Like, I was sitting there thinking like, man, maybe. But man, I was just sitting there grinning like, oh shit, man.
Tommy talked about every horse
I've forgotten about.
I do like the 7 though. I listen. I think you can look at the 2, 4, and 7. I could see any 3 of those horses winning this race. I'm just concerned about the 7 getting bet down. I think a lot of the public is
He's
Like
the sharp.
that.
He's the sharp guy horse. I've been saying it
Yeah.
all week.
Well-
I've been hearing it. I've been hearing it everywhere on every show I've listened to.
Yeah.
Because this is like the one week where I listen to the random Kentucky Derby pod. That pops up on Twitter from someone I don't even follow. Like I pop in and listen, not only to like try to support, but like get some other ideas, see where people are going. That horse is the most talked about horse of the week, I think, outside of Fierceness. But yeah, Kmart. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna find that win, play, show bet, and I'm gonna ride it with you because this is the first horse you've ever given me, and I can't have you celebrating in our group chat without me. All right, if you would. So
No,
I'm gonna
just-
ride that with
No,
you.
just don't bet it so it wins.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Dan, where are you going here? I'll let you give out my best bet too. So
Oh God, here we go. So no, it's nice too with Honor Marie. The Churchill Dirt is a little funky. It's a little cuppy. They say it's like a little like peanut butter-ish or something like that, I think. But nice to see Honor Marie with 2 wins at Churchill. That's a bonus there. I think that horse is going to run a big race. I did hear that the horse was not cranked up at all for the Risen Star. It was kind of just out for first run of the year, and I thought Louisiana Derby was a solid effort, and I think he'll peak and run his best race, and we'll see if it's good enough. My thinking a little bit, I like horses that are tactical in the Derby. Barb, I think you're spot on with Catching Freedom. A lot of people think he's going to be way out the back. He's not. They're going to he just didn't really break last time out. I think they're going to Flavian's going to be conscious about getting him like mid pack, so he only has to pass 10 horses instead of 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
As far as the 2 favorites, Fierceness is brilliant. If he faces any adversity, I think he's quitting, kind of. That's my thought on him. Sierra Leone looks like a monster, but I don't want to have to pass 17, 18 horses at 4-1. So I kind of landed on Just a Touch as well. I'm using 3 horses, but Just a Touch, I think he's got so much upside. He was 46-2 to the half mile pole in the Bluegrass and just got beat on the day, but he's coming along. I know Brad loves this horse. And who else do you trust more in this world than Brad Cox to move a horse forward and to run his race? Like, his horse has always run. So this horse is going to be tactical. Time Form has him on the lead. I don't know if he's going to actually be leading this race because I'm thinking Dornoch is sending from the rail. I think Fierceness is going to be flying out there trying to get out clear and sitting on somebody's hip right off the leader. So I don't know if Just a Touch is going to be leading or he'll be in the first flight there. And I think he's going to get a good trip. I think he's going to improve. I think he could be like really a legitimate horse, and I could see him winning the Derby for Cox. My other horse, Domestic Product, same thing, same exact thing that you said. Some slow paces. Don't even look at the buyer numbers. He's much better than that. I think he's going to sit a good trip. He's kind of been on these slow paces where he has had no speed to run at too. Not even looking at speed figures. I think if he gets a little bit of pace, which he should get in this Derby, he's going to come with his run. And I've heard Tyler hop off this horse and say to Chad, this horse is not far off of Sierra Leone. So you're going to get Chad Brown, Irad Ortiz on a horse that is, in the same ballpark as Sierra Leone. You're going to get what, 5 times the price, 8 times the price, something like that. This horse could win, and people are going to be like, wait a minute, Chad and Irad just paid $45 in the Derby.
Yeah.
So I think that
they might pay like $85.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, you're right. He could be even longer. The one thing about that horse, I don't think he likes a wet track, so I'm kind of waiting to see a little bit about how this dirt is tomorrow. And then my other horse, same kind of thing. 19, Resilience. I'm a big Billy Mott fan. He's kind of like Shug. He brings his horses along slowly. His numbers are pretty light. But he put the blinkers on the horse in the wood. I thought he won as easy as he could have. That was not a very good field, but I just see this horse running his best race. I think he'll jump up and run a bigger number. it's just that's just how he does things. He's brought this horse along slowly. He's in the Derby. The blinkers have kind of changed him. I could see this horse jumping up and getting a piece, or maybe even winning this race at 20 or 25 to 1. So I'm 8, 15, 19 in pretty much everything, and I'm trying to beat the favorites. And no knocks on Catching Freedom at all. No knocks on Honor Marie. I feel like I've looked at this race for 3 weeks, and I came to my 3 numbers, and I'm spreading in some of the other undercard races. So I'm 8, 15, 19.
8, 15, 19. Let's go. All right. Well,
If Fierceness wins by 5 lengths,
Yeah.
tip your cap, and you move on to Sunday's card.
That's it. Yeah, Fierceness. You're gonna have to win. You're gonna have to prove me wrong, and Fierceness is gonna have to win this race for me to not talk shit about this horse. But I truly believe that there is too much speed in this race for Fierceness to get the trip. I've had like 3 different people tell me, "Oh, did you not watch the Florida Derby?" Yeah, Johnny V got the lead without trying. Nobody ran near him, and he had like the greatest fucking dream trip a horse has ever fucking had. I would have won the Florida Derby on fucking Fierceness, and I'm fucking 190 pounds. So I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't think this horse is all that. I think he gets the adversity that everyone talks about. Tomorrow in Churchill, I don't think he hits the fucking board. I have this horse somewhere around like 7th to 9th personally. Early in the week, I loved Track Phantom and Rosario. I love Rosario on a front runner. I loved the blinker change with Asmussen until I heard him say he wasn't adding the blinkers for him to go for it. He thought that horse took a bad step in the LA Derby, Louisiana Derby, and he thought it confused him a little bit. So that's why he added him. So it made me kind of step back a little bit. Not what I was really looking for. Rusty's a piece of shit. So originally, this is where I've gone with this race. Early in the week, I love Track Phantom. I've gotten off of him. Late in the week, I was on Domestic Product, the 15 at 30 to 1. I do think he has a pace to run into here. That slop fest he ran in at Aqueduct now scares me with the weather. The only other horse in this race that I might possibly be betting is the 8 horse Brad Cox and Just a Touch. So those are the 3 I've been going back and forth. Never contemplated betting Catching Freedom. Don't like Dornoch. Don't want, like Dan said, don't want to be on Sierra Leone chasing down 19 other fucking horses. I think you got to take a look at Mystic Dan running that 101 buyer in the mud, 2 back. I mean, fuck, there's so much shit here. So yeah, for me, it's gonna be some type of combo between Mystic Dan, Just a Touch, and Domestic Product. I will tweet out my official play after we see how this track plays out tomorrow, but it will be one of those 3 horses. So, yeah. Anyone got anything else they want to add on this Derby before we catch you later?
I hope Dan's right. I hope a New York Thoroughbred and a Wood Memorial horse wins the Derby. And I'm going to be rooting for Antonio Frisou. I think that guy's the best kept secret in horse racing. He deserves the mount he's getting in Stronghold, and I hope that horse runs well.
Yeah, it's another horse I looked at too. Dan, any last comments?
Yeah, no, it'd be nice to see the Wood Memorial become a Grade 1 race again. You know, that we've been getting a lot of hate for that race. There's a stat out there. It hasn't been a Derby winner come out of the Wood Memorial in 20, 30 years or something like that. But
I don't think any New York prep race has produced a Derby winner in the last like 4 zillion years, it feels like, right?
Yeah, not in forever.
Well, it produced Archangelo in the Preakness or whatever, but not in the Derby.
Yeah.
Or no, the Belmont. I'm sorry. Was that the Belmont?
Belmont, yeah.
One? Yeah.
Yeah, I wish he was still around, but No, I really don't have much. It's a hell of a race. It's my favorite race of the year. It's the pinnacle of our sport. I would say don't jump off track Phantom though. That's like a seahorse for me. I wouldn't worry about the blinkers. Everyone's kind of acting like, oh, the further he goes, the more he gets tired. But this horse was 2-1 in Louisiana Derby. Lost by 2 lengths. He lost by a half length to Sierra Leone the race before in the Risen Star. If the blinkers just focus the horse a little bit more and it adds a few lengths onto him, Asmussen is due for a Derby. This horse can be 30, 40 to 1 probably.
I'm not going to lie, Dan. I promise you, if Track Phantom wins this race, I'm smashing my computer. I'm breaking everything because I love this horse all fucking week and I got off of him. Smashing everything.
Go with your gut, but maybe like a little saver bet or something like that.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, dude. There's a very good chance I do 3, 8, 12, 15 somehow.
I like it.
Yeah. So my official play would be tweeted tomorrow. But listen, guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us for the last hour, breaking down the card. Barb, our good friend Tommy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Got to get you back on sometime during football season. Dan, always a pleasure, dude. Thanks a lot for all your insight and everything. Yeah. We appreciate you joining the Fade You boys for our show tonight.
Man, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure.
Anytime.
Love to do it anytime.
Nice. Kmart, thanks for sitting there and just looking cute and then giving us the Derby winner.
Yeah.
Honor Marie by 3 lengths.
I don't know. I think Tommy looks a lot cuter than I do tonight.
Yeah,
I'm looking a little
I got
trashy.
underwear older than Tommy. It makes me sad. All right, boys. We'll catch you all later. Thanks for joining us. Fade You, 4 Idiots. You know where to find us. Peace.
Peace.